What's going on, fellas?
What's shaking?
So, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, is right around the corner, so we decided why not. We'll do a Godzilla review and do the MonsterVerse.
2014's Godzilla.
And we may do another Godzilla review before then if we have time, we'll see. But
Definitely.
we'll do the 2014, we'll start with that. And with this being said, it's directed by Gareth Edwards. This is the guy who made Rogue One, Star Wars.
He went on to make Rogue One, yeah.
And that's the reason why he didn't do Godzilla 2. This is the reason.
I was wondering, I looked that up, and I was kind of wondering why he wasn't directing the second one. But
That is the reason. He was going to direct it, and that's why I think we don't have...
I mean, when Star Wars pops up, you don't really say no.
Exactly. He had a 1-2 punch there. He had Godzilla and then Star Wars. He's got a good run going.
Yeah.
And the movie, I'll be honest, I had so much hype for this movie when it came out. I was aware of this movie in 2010, maybe. I remember I seen a poster or not a poster, but the logo, and I said, oh, there's a new Godzilla movie. Hopefully they make him look like Godzilla and whatnot. And then about a year or two later, maybe 2011, 2012, I seen the poster. And I was like, oh my god, they're making him look like Godzilla. I seen all the dorsal fins going up the back.
Compared to the last Godzilla we got, like 1998's Godzilla, this Godzilla is just phenomenal.
It's
crazy.
This is Godzilla, and I'll say something about the 98 movie. The movie isn't an awful movie, it's not a Godzilla movie. If that movie was called something
just
else...
like a monster, like a dinosaur monster movie more than Godzilla.
Yeah, if that movie was called something else, and as a lot of the Godzilla fans out there know, Toho renamed that monster Zilla, so he's no longer Godzilla. He's not worthy to be Godzilla. So, we may as well get into the 2014 movie. It stars Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think his name is, the guy who played Kick-Ass.
He does an okay job. Not really, like it's nothing remarkable. Like, Bryan Cranston is in this movie, and he's easily the best performance of the movie, in my opinion. I don't know about you.
Bryan Cranston, going into this movie, I remember hearing, because I had just finished Breaking Bad at the point, whenever I...
Yeah, I know, when I heard he was going to play a scientist in it, I was like, that's perfect, because it was like right after Breaking Bad.
Because I had just finished Breaking Bad, and then I heard this Bryan Cranston guy. Thank God I watched Breaking Bad first, because that just took this movie
if you had Googled him and found out he was from Malcolm in the Middle, you would have been like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, that hype, or that info just took this movie to a whole new level of hype for me. You get Godzilla and Bryan Cranston. What can go wrong in this movie?
And ironically enough, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who plays Quicksilver in the MCU, is married to Elizabeth Olsen in this, who actually plays his sister Scarlet Witch in the MCU. And it's nothing crazy, but it is like, at first you're like, I don't know about this, but then you understand it's actors, it's just another job. Like,
something tells me that the reason they did that was because I think they had good chemistry, because I'm pretty sure this came out before Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron came out 2015, didn't it?
Yeah, so there you go. So I think that might be why.
I didn't even realize that. Yeah.
With all that being said, at the beginning of the movie, we just find out Bryan Cranston, he's at home, he's living in Japan, and he's just getting all these waves, these airwaves or whatever, and he's just, this doesn't seem right. Something's not right here. They're covering something up, so he goes to work and all is good, and everything's just a normal day at the office, but then something bad happens. Just come to find out he may have been right, that something a little strange was going on. And of course, the whole nuclear plant or wherever it is they're working at, the whole thing just collapses. Something's in there, and we don't...
I love that, the cinematography in that, like the special effects, just watching them come down, it looked awesome.
We don't know what happened, but in our heads, as the Godzilla fans, oh my god, yeah, Godzilla did this, but we find out later something even fishier is up.
I may note before we get into this, I seen this like 2-3 years ago, and I seen it, like, my buddy came over with it on a USB stick, and it was like a crappy cam version. It was really dark. It was just a bad experience, so it put a bad taint in my mouth, so I never watched it, and I found it on Blu-ray at Walmart like a week ago, and popped it in, and I gotta say I liked it considerably a lot more. Actually being able to see everything.
And even with that being said, the fact that you did see it high quality, we all know that this movie is so dark, but like Not even like it's like, oh, it's a dark storyline. It's just like you can hardly see anything whenever the monster fights are going on, and I think Gareth Edwards said he did that so he could make the monsters look better. He said if they were in the daytime or whatever, he said they wouldn't have been able to look that good or something.
They do that with a lot of movies and shows. They do the big fight scenes in the nighttime, so they don't have to put as much effort into the background and even details of said character.
And that's an issue that I do believe is going to be fixed in the next movie, so we don't really got to worry about that. So about 15 years passes after the destruction of the plant and whatnot, and
Bryan Cranston, right when his wife dies there too, that's some of the hard hitting.
See, that's Bryan Cranston though. This is, well, the fact that this is basically a spoiler review. The movie's been out for 5 years. I'm going to say this right now. The biggest issue with this movie to me is getting rid of the most interesting character in the movie in the
That's
first.
That's what I mean. Like even it comes later on. Aaron Buddy Ford is his name in the movie. He comes across this kid and he's kind of helping the kid out for a bit. But I would have much rather see Bryan Cranston and his son helping each other out the whole movie, opposed to just picking up this random character that oh, it's a kid. I feel bad. I want him to save him. Yes, but that kid means nothing to us
the story,
as far as the story goes.
But I agree 110%. The whole, and that's just it. They've spent 15 years trying to figure out what happened that day, what's going on. But then Bryan Cranston, he was right all along, and now it's just well, he was right, but then before all the stuff even comes to the forefront, he's not there to see it. And to me, that's just ugh.
Yeah.
I to this day, that's the only big issue I have. Well, one of the two big issues I have with the movie.
Now imagine if they had killed off the son in that scene, and it was Bryan Cranston trying to do all this while carrying the weight of his wife and son being dead. I think that would have been a better movie.
Yes, I agree 110%. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that as if the Ford character is a bad character, because I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I just think I think he was told to have that emotionless feel because of all the stuff he's seen in the army and whatnot. So,
which a lot of army folk are.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a bad performance. But with what you said, I do believe if he was the one to die in that scene, and then Bryan Cranston had to go the rest of the movie, I don't know if he just would have went full crazy or.
Well, yeah, it would have made at the very ending, he could have sacrificed himself to kill one of the M.U.T.Os, and it would have made sense.
Yeah, it just but as little as he is in the movie, the time he does get is just so masterpiece.
My wife died here. Something killed my wife, and I have a right to know. I deserve answers.
He's in it for about the first half hour, 25 minutes or so, maybe a little longer.
Something
I'm
like that.
sure,
I think it was the 40-minute mark, I think. But come to find out, they've been they shut down Japan. Japan is basically a quarantine zone. You can't get in there, and he needs to get back in there to get all his old information from that day to prove that it wasn't just a natural disaster and that there's something that they're hiding. So they get in there, and they come to find out it's not lethal at all. They can breathe the air mint. So that's just adding up, what are they hiding in here? And, of course, they get caught, and they bring them to this facility, and then you see this big egg. And I remember being in the theater back in 2014, I said, that's not Mothra. I said, there's no way. I said, because I thought it was just... I thought Godzilla was going to be the only monster in this movie.
The first time I seen it, I thought that too. I wasn't expecting these M.U.T.Os or whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be Godzilla against humanity, and that's it. But I saw the egg, and I was like, they're not busting Mothra out here, are they? And come to find out, they don't.
I don't know how I feel about those M.U.T.O things that wind up hatching from them. They're crazy and they make for a good fight, but what are they supposed to be exactly?
The M.U.T.Os are just they're part of this. Well, I think we're gonna find out more about their backstory in the next movie.
They call them animals in the movie, but they look more like bugs to me.
Well, that's like
mind you, they almost look more like a bat. If I were to compare them to an animal, I would say they're more bat-like, especially the flying one. But
I understand that, yeah, but I love how there is the male and the female.
yeah.
And you come to find out that that's all these signals that Bryan Cranston has been hearing the last few
And
years.
the friggin' things
that,
eat radiation, which I think's awesome. Well, all of them eat radiation, don't they? Because isn't that why Godzilla goes to, like, down in the ocean to get radiation from the core?
That's
or
why
something?
he's always dormant, because that's
Yeah.
just the most radiation on the planet at this point. But like back like millions and millions of years ago, they were all just able to live up top on the surface fine because it was just all radiation, I guess.
Oh man, that scene when the M.U.T.O does break out of the cocoon or whatever, and it takes all those cranes down, I love that.
He makes, or the director, he makes big things look really big in this
Oh,
movie,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
did it again in Star Wars with like the Death Star and the Sandstorm.
And when the ground was blowing up in Rogue One, yeah.
Yeah, he's a master at making stuff look really big, and he makes Godzilla look really, really big. Godzilla's first appearance,
Oh man.
I gave it another watch last night, and to this day, that spot whenever Godzilla finally shows up, I still get goosebumps. I'm just like,
And
he's
it
here.
sucks though, because it's like literally both the best and worst part of the movie, in my opinion. Because like you see him just boom, boom, boom. You see his big, huge foot, like way bigger than you're expecting. You're expecting him to be big, but then it appears, and you're like, wait, he's that big. And then it pans up, and then he just screeches at the camera. But then it cuts away, and it's like, come on, I want to see him kick ass right there.
Now that we got that out of the way, I'm gonna say this: the two issues that I have with this movie.
Oh yeah,
If Bryan Cranston was still in the movie longer, and if they just made that one fight in Hawaii longer, this movie would be
I
a
noticed
15
they
out
did
of
that
10.
twice. I didn't write down the second time. I just wrote down that it happened again when I was rewatching it. But they do the cutaway when you
The
just
tease, yeah,
like
it's
you expect
awful.
something to happen, they cut away, and like I just watched a show a week or two ago where they did that every friggin' 2 minutes, and like I am done with cutaways. Anytime I see it in a movie, I am gonna shit talk it because I am so done with cutaways. Like, you don't
I
understand.
agree 110% because even today people are still talking about that. And with that being said, thank God for this sequel, because apparently not only Godzilla is going to have like twice as much screen time as he did in this movie, but all the other monsters have like just as much screen
and that's
time.
another thing I didn't like, but I understood about this movie is it's named Godzilla, but there's a lack of Godzilla in it. It's more of a human side of the story, but I understand why they did it that way. It just when you go see a movie called Godzilla, you expect a lot of Godzilla. Like
Well, the fact that they're doing the MonsterVerse, it's kind of like the MCU. It would be
they
cool.
almost could have called it M.U.T.O.
It could have been. It could be cool if, like, let's say they started with this movie and it's like mainly a lot of humans and stuff. It would be cool if they ended it with destroy all monsters and there's like no
Just
humans at all.
slowly kill off all the humans.
Yeah,
Like, the
that's-
next movie, half of them will be gone. The movie after that, there'll be like a small group of survivors, and after that, it's just monsters. Or
Yeah,
something.
because personally, that's what I wanted out of this movie before I found out there was other monsters in the movie. Whenever I thought that it was just Godzilla, I thought it was just going to be Godzilla just destroying the Earth, and that's it.
The score to this movie is unreal. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched this movie like twice in the last week. I watched it once reviewing it, and then I watched it again just to kind of enjoy it and see if I caught anything I might have missed the first time. And the score, I liked it the first time, but the second time I just liked it so much more. From like the soundtrack to just like the thuds from Godzilla, like not the soundtrack, but like that dark eerie music it plays
has
when
a
when
really-
something's about to go down. It
It has a
grips you,
really
like-
epic.
Yeah.
It does have a really epic score for the movie. And that's one thing I'm excited for the next one is that I think the soundtrack
Is
for
the
the next
same
one's
guy
gonna be
doing
better.
the same score?
No, the guy Bear McCreary is doing the second one. The guy who did the soundtrack for The Walking Dead.
And another thing, when he first appeared, even before you see him, all the water in the ocean goes down because he's coming out, and it's like sucking the water out.
Oh, I was
almost
gonna
like
s- I was
almost like
gonna
when you
say
get
that
out of a
too.
tub.
It was,
Like
yeah, whenever the little girl just looks at the beach and then the water's just going back as if to say tidal waves coming.
Oh yeah, and then it comes and just destroys people, vehicles, buildings. Like, I love that sequence so much. And then they kill it with a cutaway, and it's like, oh my god.
I agree 110%. Like, that first cutaway, whenever the people are on the building and they're looking at Godzilla like, what in the fuck is that thing?
Yeah.
And then he walks away, and then he, like, goes behind the building, and then it cuts away there. I'm cool with that, but then whenever he confronts the M.U.T.O and we get to see Godzilla, that cutaway is completely unacceptable. If they just threw in maybe like a 3-minute fight scene right after that, I'd give this movie a 110%.
Oh man, this is it. Like, and then you finally, like, the other M.U.T.O wakes up and kind of destroys a bit of Vegas, but they don't really touch a whole lot on that. But the fight finally resolves itself in San Francisco, and that whole sequence of the movie, I loved the whole sequence.
As soon as he shows up at the bridge, as soon as Godzilla shows up at the bridge, you see his fins coming, and then it stops.
And I noticed they kind of took from the 1998 Godzilla in the sense of all the eggs and the babies, but it's like they did it right in this movie as far as and it's not Godzilla's babies either. It was almost like they took from it but made it way better. I noted that. I know it's not. They probably didn't even mean to. It's just
the fact
like
that there's
would be like.
I like the fact that there is like both a male and a female like reproducing instead of just Godzilla doing it himself. So I agree. I like that 110%. I don't mind that being in the movie at all.
The whole last sequence of that movie, man, San Francisco. I love that. Like. Yeah, like even when he's fighting the flying M.U.T.O, and like the M.U.T.Os are kicking the crap out of him for a little bit. Like, you're not sure if he's gonna actually win or not. Like, that's how I was feeling anyway. And then he just gets a second wind, and then when those like not dorsal fins, but like those things on his back when they light up blue and dorsal that sound. Fins, oh my god, man!
The sound design in the movie is so good. Like, you can go back and look at my reaction to the final King of the Monsters trailer, and whenever the fins start lighting up, you can just see me going along. You can just see me go bah, 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 and like I look at it and it's kind of funny, but it's so epic.
Oh man,
I love Godzilla.
Like, and then right after that, the male flies at him and he just like whips his tail around, and smashes him into the building. Holy crap! Did he ever just murk him? It was almost like he wasn't even trying the whole time, and then they must have heard him, and he was like, "All right, now I'm pissed." And just
honest to God, right?
And then the way he kills the friggin' female M.U.T.O, oh my frig, that's one of the best deaths I think I've seen in a movie, and it's friggin' monsters.
I think I cried in the theater at that point. I don't remember. I think I did.
Oh man, just the way it just rips its jaw breathes the fire
Well, they get the nuke or whatever on the boat, and Ford's like going onto the boat trying to like get the nuke as far away from the city as possible or whatever, and like the M.U.T.O's right behind him. You think he's fucked. He's like, oh well, you're dead. And then the next thing you know, you just hear like a crunch, and then it just pans over to his shoulder, and Godzilla's got a hold of him. And then there's no music at all, and they're just like wrestling a little bit, and then Godzilla opens his mouth, and it's so sick. I love it. Like,
doesn't he just burn like his insides and burns the head off?
He doesn't cut his head off. He just burns the head off like through the inside. It was so sick.
Like, that's crazy. I love that. And then he just decides to take like a nap. Like, just collapses, takes a breather, and then gets up, screeches, and goes back into the ocean.
Well, that's one thing I'm gonna say, and I'm not sure because they might touch upon it in the next movie, but let me know what you guys think. Do you think Godzilla's atomic breath in the MonsterVerse, do you think that weakens him? Because I noticed watching last night, I think he does lose a little bit of strength after he does the atomic breath.
Yeah, and maybe the sun gave him enough strength, like the radiation from the sun, maybe that helped him get up, because he does get away. It doesn't really say when he gets up and leaves, but he gets up and
like the next day, I'd assume that was, like the next morning.
I was going to say a couple hours later, a couple couple days later. I don't know, but maybe the sun gave him enough power.
But yeah, everything about Godzilla, whenever it comes to the size in this movie, though, like whenever he first shows up at the bridge and like you see the fins coming, but then it just stops. But then the next thing you know, you find out, oh my god, that's just his tail. And then they turn around and you find out that there's more dorsal fins in front of them, and he just starts getting out of the water, and the ships are on his back. And
that part.
The movie, as I said, the only thing keeping this movie from being the perfect Godzilla movie is they got rid of Bryan Cranston way too early and not enough monster fights.
Yeah, cutaways and one thing that, and I'm not really ragging on it too much because it's a movie, but the story was too convenient for me. Like, just with, like, Ford just so happened to be in Hawaii where the M.U.T.O just so happened to be. Like, but that's movie, like, that's just how movies work, so I'm not going to rag on that too much.
So with that being said, is there anything else you have to say about the movie?
No, just the score was amazing. Most of the acting was amazing, especially Bryan Cranston, though. Even Ken Watanabe.
He's going to be in the second movie.
Yeah, like I liked him in this. That what's her name? I have it here. Sally Hawkins. I liked her in it. She didn't really have a big role, but I believe she's the one from that The Shape of Water movie.
Is she the one who is working with?
She like falls in love with the creature, whatever. I watched it with Mom. I didn't even get to see the whole movie, but I'm almost certain that she is.
Is that the one who's like working with Ken Watanabe? Yeah, she's going to be in the second one too.
And like I said, the story was good, like great. I loved the nuclear. I loved almost everything about it, except just some things was just too coincidental, and the cutaways just killed me. But that's also, if I had seen this like 3 weeks ago, the cutaways might not have pissed me off as much as they did. I watched an episode of a show the other day, and they think, like, I hate when movies think that, like, okay, I'm surrounded by bad guys. You think I'm going to die, and it cuts away. And it comes back, and
it's
there's
not
just no one
explained.
there.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what just happened? You were against 15 guys, and now there's 3. I want to know what just happened, because if that was me, I'd be cut into fucking 15 pieces. It's just,
honest to God, right?
I'm sick of seeing stuff like that, and yeah. Anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed Godzilla,
and
regardless.
I can't say how excited I am for the end of the month to go see the next one.
Oh man, King of the Monsters or whatever. I cannot wait for that, especially after seeing this in like high def. And we'll probably try and get Kong Skull Island reviewed before we see Godzilla as well. I believe is that the next one we're going to try.
We'll see if we can get that done. Maybe
and then an old school
next
Godzilla
week or something. So with that being said, guys, let us know what you guys thought of Godzilla 2014. I know it was the very first movie I've ever seen in a theater more than once. I liked it that much. I had that much hype for it.
Mine was The Dark Knight.
And with that being said, make sure to subscribe to the channel.
And let us know what you guys thought of the movie below, and if you're going to check out the sequel.
You better go check it out, because if we need these next 2 movies...
And what do you think of the whole MonsterVerse?
We need these next 2 movies to do unbelievably good, so we can just get more Godzilla movies like this.
I want to see Kong versus Zilla, and like that's probably coming regardless of how.
Yeah, that movie's already pretty well filmed. I think that's already in post-production.
So yeah, I'm excited for the MonsterVerse to start thriving. It probably won't thrive as well and as long as the
it doesn't need to go that long.
But I want to see it. I just want to see a couple more movies of this, like as many as they can pull off without it being silly.
Well, before we can close on this, if the thing is with this next movie, because as of right now, people are just thinking, oh, well, all they got is Kong and Godzilla. How can they just go and make like 15 movies? Well, after this next movie, they could easily do a King Ghidorah movie, a Mothra movie, a Rodan movie. So we can. That's all we can do is just wait and see. They say they're already talking about doing movies in like the prehistoric times when like it's just people with like sticks and stones trying to fight Godzilla.
And I'd be down for that, like old school Godzilla, or old school monster fights even. Just I don't care. Like give us more.
We're open to anything at this point whenever it comes to the giant monsters.
Yeah.
So with that being said, guys, you guys make sure to have a good one.
Take her easy.